turn on that audio, please? Everything's on. I call this meeting to order. Mr. Mayor, please call roll.
Ms. Knapp?
Here.
Mr. Rivers?
Here.
Ms. Tranto?
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any agenda changes?
I don't. I have none.
Okay.
Chairman, we do have one additional item that Mr. Mayor had emailed last week about increasing appropriations for the account.
Yeah, I put that in the Parks report.
Okay.
So yeah, I dropped that in over the weekend. The resolution's there. Sorry, I didn't mention it.
Yeah, so we just, that just needs to be added under 7B.
Okay.
I want to add the minutes.
Authorize supplemental appropriation.
How about the minutes? Do you want to add the minutes? I want, since I think we just got them in, we'll have more time to look at them.
Table minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any public comments for items that are not on today's agenda? We do not. We'll table the minutes. So that takes us to zoning, Ms. Bonnie.
Okay, our next zoning commission meeting on Tuesday, August 6th at 7 p.m. We are hoping to continue discussing the application number zone-19-01 of the Forshee Development Single Family District on South Old State in Orange. We have not received the revised materials at this time, so they need to be here soon or we'll have to table it again. Following that, we have a BZA hearing on Thursday, August 15th at 6:30 p.m. And then we currently have 6 applications for that evening. The Sri Savava Temple is again supposed to be heard that evening. We'll see if we get the materials in time. Following that, the North Unitarian congregation over in Lewis Center Village will be proposing an expansion on their church. Next is a variance application for ATS. They're requesting variances for the colors and the dumpster screening that was tabled from this month's hearing. Next is a variance application for a safety cover in place of a fence for an in-ground swimming pool. So that'll be an interesting discussion. And the last 2 are for variances and conditional uses for this Ninja Express car wash that's proposed on Orange Road and 23. So I don't know if anyone's noticed the construction that's happening over there. They're intending to keep the same use there and just kind of improve the site with a new car wash. And then I guess the last thing I have is that we finally finished amending or updating the new zoning resolution, so everyone should have a copy of that, and I will be distributing that to all the board members and providing a copy to the recorder's office in Delaware County. So that's it.
Okay. And there's also an obsolete item.
Yes, we just updated our printers in our office, and given how old the printer is, I'd like to propose this item as something to be either discarded or salvaged, or I guess, yes. I think there's a picture of it in the backup item. It used to be in Nancy and Marianne's area, and then we took it, and then we just wanted a better printer at this point. So I think it's served its time.
I don't know if it's worth putting something like that on Gov Deals or not.
Well, I asked IT and they didn't think it would sell.
Yeah.
I make the adoption of the following resolution, where the township has certain used property which has no value, is not needed for public use, is obsolete, or is unfit for the use for which it was acquired. Now therefore be it resolved that the property listed in Exhibit A of this resolution, incorporated herein by reference, as if fully repeated, is found to be not needed for public use, is obsolete, or is unfit for the use for which it was acquired, and to have no value. Be it further resolved that such property shall be discarded or salvaged, and Michelle Bonney or her designee shall oversee its disposal.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Taranto,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Bonnie, one idea, if you would, I know the law library up in Delaware would probably like to have a copy of that new updated text or compilation.
I said that to the trustees. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I heard the recorder, I didn't hear the law library.
I will send it to any necessary agency to Delaware County.
Yeah, that's not really required, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Okay.
They'd just like to have them.
Maintenance report, Mr. Cowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 3 purchase orders for your consideration today. The first is a purchase order from the United States Postal Service, the amount of $9,912, and this is for right-of-way acquisition on the East Orange Road Phase 2 project. Second purchase order that I have is for a vendor, the name of Contract Sweepers. I understand this is something that the township does annually. Aaron James recommended that we move forward with this, so I have that purchase order. It actually sweeps 80 miles of all our subdivisions with curbs and gutters.
I think sometimes we do it twice a year.
Yeah, it's usually twice a
Twice a
year.
And I'm really glad I was gonna ask you about that because I've noticed a lot of debris in many of our roads lately, so I'm really glad you're doing that.
So maybe we'll look at doing it again then.
I
Probably
want to
in
say
the,
it's what, spring and fall?
yeah, usually spring.
So we're in the middle of summer.
So after snow and all the salt and buildup of that, and then fall after, usually we try to hit it after the rate.
Yeah, like maybe November.
So I don't know if that's something you're interested in still having done this year.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Okay. The third purchase order is for J&A Construction Incorporated. This is a state of Ohio cooperative purchasing bid contract. The numbers on his letter that are attached. I'd like to point out in his scope of work, he does reference ODOT contract number 101G-19. That's actually 101G-20.
Now I wanted to ask about this. Is this the same that we did a couple years ago that caused a lot of issues?
No, according to Mr. James, again, Aaron James, this is and I've done some research too. It's a better product. It's got more fibrous material in it, and it tends to even out and stay.
Okay.
It's got
Will this
a
fix,
lasting life.
will this fix all of the roads with the issues or this is just for now?
Well, we did attach a list of roads that Mr. James thought would need to be addressed first.
First, okay, so we can get to the other roads later.
Yes, and if you have something in particular, we could address that as well.
Okay.
Just let us know. Those are the only 3 purchase orders I have on the information for maintenance report.
Okay. Any other questions?
So are we putting, the list of roads in the minutes?
It's up to you. I attached it to the purchase order. However you want it.
All right.
You
I'm
want
gonna
to put in
ask.
the minutes?
Yeah, please, just so we
Okay.
can keep track of it, thanks.
Will do.
I make the motion to authorize the issuance of a purchase order to the United States Postal Service in the amount of $9,912 for right-of-way acquisition for East Orange Road Phase 2 project.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp.
Yes.
Ms. Taranto.
Yes.
Make the motion to authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Contract Sweepers in the amount of $6,592 for sweeping approximately 80 miles of curved township roads.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp.
Yes.
Ms. Taranto.
Yes.
I make the motion to authorize the issuance of the purchase order to J&A Construction in the amount of $60,000 for majestic patching of perpendicular road cracks.
It's mastic patching.
Oh, sorry, mastic.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Anton.
Yes.
Thank you. Parks report. I have one item, and it's to accept a donation. It's from Orange Fellowship, a check in the amount of $260 made out to Orange Township. The check is dated June 30th, 2019. And there's also a note attached that came with the check.
It's something that they do periodically throughout the year. They're very generous.
I know there's another item Mr. Mayor was going to talk about on the Parks report, and Nita also has a report she'd like to read about the news.
Mr. Mayor created a resolution of authorization of supplemental appropriations, and it's to increase account code 2901-610-221-0000, an additional $25,000, and that's medical hospitalization. There just wasn't enough to pay out of that account due to some runouts from prior years, and OPEC runout payouts. So Mr. Mayor and I worked together last week. This will bring this account up and the blanket up, and will get us through the rest of the year and January's payments, which are always made in December as well. And I believe he provided the resolution. If there's any questions.
I have no questions.
I make the motion to accept a donation in the form of a check for $260.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Mr. Anton.
Yes.
I make the motion to authorize a supplemental appropriation to account code 2901-610-221-0000 in the amount of $25,000, bringing the 2019 annual appropriation to this account to $50,300, and B, an increase of the 2019 annual blanket purchase order certificate this same account 2901-610-221-0000 to $50,300.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Mr. Anton,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if there's one other thing I'd like to add to the park report. We had our movie in the park event July the 17th, and we had a great turnout. We had about 150 to 175 residents and kids and families there. Fire trucks were there. We had some food vendors as well. The weather was great. I know that Mr. Cowan and Mike Kelly and Brenda Tully and Matthew Lang were there, and everybody did a wonderful job. And we had good response and feedback. So I just have to say thank you for your support for putting it all together. And hopefully next year we can plan a few more of those events. I do think that having less activities is easier to manage, and maybe we can have more throughout the year, or maybe do other activities, something like that. But it was a great event.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work on that and organizing. You did a good job.
Yeah, thank you to everyone.
I didn't notice any difference between past years. It just was very smooth.
Oh, good. Well, good. That's what we want.
Thank you.
I would even suggest maybe at the beginning of the year, we set some dates, and that way you're not rushed and.
Right.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3. That'll be fine.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no items today for public safety, which takes us to the fiscal officer report, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, the 2018 audit status is I have yet to hear from the auditors. I expect to any minute. I'll let you know when I do. Also, yesterday I love our program Rec Desk. I went in to see how the hog roast went, and there were 88 admissions at $8 a piece, a total of $704. And if anybody needs, I provided that to Amanda and to Bill. So
How much did we pay for that, for the food for that event?
it was a little over 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Bill?
What For the barbecue?
Yeah.
$2,300.
So break even would be about 300 people,
Yeah,
roughly.
might need to look at that next year, or a different way of doing things.
We'll just cut back on quantity, so.
Yeah, maybe look at the years. The problem too is that I think every year for the past like 4 years or 5, it's been like 70 or 75 degrees. So hardly anyone has come, maybe minus 1 year in there. And then this year was really hot, and still a lot of people didn't come. So.
Just real quick, I thought too, why not have the barbecue folks just come and set up and sell from their
Yeah.
truck or whatever as a food vendor. As
Outsource
opposed to us.
That might be, yeah, do they have a food truck,
I don't know.
that company, or maybe similar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a better idea, and then they can handle all that, 'cause
Yeah.
I think 1 year we had maybe a couple hundred, possibly 1 year, but I don't feel like it's getting the same response, and that's a lot of money.
And there's plenty of food trucks out there.
Yeah, let's look at that for next year, but we could still call it the food truck pool night or something, I don't know.
Actually, that might be well received, might even be better received.
Yeah, I think
People like
it would,
food
different
trucks.
kinds, and that way if you're like a vegetarian, you could, depending on who we have, you could still go to the barbecue or whatever.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Administrative report, John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a resolution prepared for you by Mr. McCarthy for a full-time firefighter that was recently hired, full-time, Mike Kimmerling. He was part-time with us, and he was hired full-time earlier this year. And he has prior service from Jackson Township, and for our policy, Ohio Township time transfers for vacation accrual. So he has some prior service time, and once that gets approved, then it will, I'll work with the fire department and make sure his vacation accrual gets adjusted appropriately. If there's any questions on that.
I make the adoption of the following resolution, whereas Resolution 16-345 provides that a full-time township employee is entitled to have their prior full-time service with the township counted as service with Orange Township for the purpose of computing the amount of their vacation leave, and whereas Mike Kimmerling has been appointed as a full-time firefighter paramedic, and whereas pursuant to such provision, the Human Resources Communications Manager has presented the board with a certification regarding firefighter paramedic Kimmerling, indicating his prior full-time service period as a firefighter paramedic with Jackson Township. Now, therefore, be it resolved that firefighter paramedic Kimmerling's prior full-time service tenure with Jackson Township is recognized as totaling 1 year, 2 months, 24 days, which period shall be counted as service with Orange Township for the purpose of calculating the accrual of his vacation time. Subject to the terms and conditions of the board's policy adopted in Resolution 16-345 entitled Prior Service Recognition for purposes of vacation accrual, longevity pay, and sick time transfer, and the township fiscal officer is authorized and directed to integrate this period into this employee's township records for such purpose only.
Second?
Mr. Rivers?
Yes,
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Under old business A, Mr. Khan, I believe we're still waiting on some stuff from
That's
Mr.
correct.
Betts.
Mr. Betts has that, and there'll be one more with the Ohio Public Works for the next meeting as well, so there'll be 2 items next time.
So we're gonna keep that tabled. B, the blanket certificate, do we have any updates?
That was a carryover from last meeting. It was to approve money, $17,000 for EMS operating supplies. And when I read the motion last time, or the resolution, I didn't think it was worded quite specifically enough, so I reworded it.
Didn't we, when you did the budget, I thought you put extra in all these accounts?
This was moving, if I recall correctly, this is moving money from the lockbox to EMS.
Oh, okay, okay.
And we did the first part of it at the last meeting. I know you weren't here. So.
Any other questions? I make the motion to approve the following 2019 blanket certificate, with the exception of blankets covering salaries or related items such as employee benefits, individual purchases of $10,000 or more, with a blanket certificate require board approval. And this is for the fire department, account number 2191-220-420-2402, in the amount of $17,000.
Second?
Mr. Rivers,
Yes.
Ms. Knapp,
Yes.
Ms. Trento,
Yes.
That takes us to the next item C. There's a discussion on bank record.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I requested the annual CDs that we received by Delaware County Bank from the years of 2008 to 2016 because we have not seen those statements at any point in time. And Mr. Mayor got the cost for those CDs. This would include the bank records for 9 years, including all of our bank accounts, detailed records that are electronically sorted. And Mr. Mayor said the cost would be $180 and that the fiscal office has no need for the annual CDs provided by First Commonwealth Bank. Let's see here. And he says he can't justify spending money that way, so it's up to the board to decide if it wants to pay for these extra bank CDs. So, Mr. Mayor, I would like you to explain why you don't think that that's a worthy expenditure to get the copies of the account records that I can look at.
Well, first of all, I'm glad I could answer your question. I sent you an email and asked you to tell me what it's about so I can be prepared, but I am prepared.
We should be prepared.
I am prepared. Well, I never know what's going to happen. So, when I got here, we had 2 CDs that have the annual CD that First Commonwealth provides. I was aware of 2. They were in the front of a box that had other CDs in them, but those were not annual CDs. Those were miscellaneous quarterly and other CDs. So so we didn't have, and I provided 2018 and 2017 to Ms. Knapp. We didn't have the other ones. I went to First Commonwealth and I said, can you produce those? And they asked a question, well, why would those be needed? Because Ms. Knapp has all of the bank records, hard copy, and they indicated that they speak with you on a somewhat regular basis, or you've made other requests, so they're familiar with your requests. So they got back to me and told me that they could do it, but there would be a cost involved. We don't need those CDs. We have all the records, all those years. The auditing is closed. We have boxes and boxes of paper records. Some of those years are so far back that the records may have been destroyed appropriately. So we don't have any need for it. So I said, I don't have any reason to spend money on it. But if the board would like to spend money on it, it's entirely up to the board. So I wasn't saying no. I simply said, I don't have any use for them. If you want them, then the board should approve. That's all I said.
Right. Well, I just want to clarify. You did give me 17 and 18. I did not request those from you because you did give those to me. This is for 2008 through 2016, right? And
we don't have those.
Right. And actually, this provides all bank records. I did not actually have access to those accounts until 2017. At the end of 2016, I was able to ask for some records, but for probably 10 years, the trustees have not seen a single bank statement. Not once, not paper, not electronically. At some point, we had access to Star Ohio, but until that point, we had no access whatsoever. And I received access in April of 17 to the accounts, and 2 months later, Delaware County Bank was taken over or bought out by First Commonwealth. So I had no access at that point. So I have a hodgepodge of some things from 2016 and a few other years, but I find it very concerning that you're aware that the trustees have not seen any of these financial documents for all those years. There was no oversight, and I would think that that would be something that you would approve of a trustee looking through.
I never disapproved. I just simply said, we don't, for our purposes in the fiscal office, we don't need those. They don't have them. They said they would produce them. There's a cost. And if you want them and the board wants to pay for them, I don't
Okay.
object at all.
Here are the CDs that you pulled out for me to look at. I confirmed with the Delaware County, or First Commonwealth Bank, Kate Nelson. And actually I speak to Kate around 3 times a year. And she usually doesn't even return my email. So I find that to be kind of false that she communicates with me on a regular basis. Here we have all the annual CDs. We received monthly CDs from 2006 all the way through 2010, monthly CDs of all the accounts. And we have 2011, some of 2011, statements only. Every single CD somehow is missing from basically part of 2011 all the way through 2017. So as you explained to me, these are kept in your office in a locked closet. So what do you think happened to all of the missing CDs?
I have no idea because when I got here, that's what was there. We got the annual CD at the end of 2018, which I provided to you. And I don't know what, you'd have to ask my predecessor.
Is it concerning to you that those CDs are all missing because they are public records to be maintained by the fiscal office?
Well, there were other public records that disappeared when my predecessor left also. I have no idea.
Does that make it okay that records are missing? If other records are missing, is it okay that these financial records are missing?
We have, I don't know what you're trying to do.
Well, I'm trying to say that I would
No,
think,
you're trying to trap me into something.
I'm not trying to trap you, I'm trying to get copies of the CDs is what I would like.
We have in our office everything we need for those years. And frankly, when those CDs come, since I've been, well, I've only been here 9 months, but when that annual CD came, I didn't go and look for it. We have all those records. There's no reason for us to worry about those.
But certainly don't think it would be a
If
good
the
idea.
point, if the point is you want to approve $180, that's
There's the
fine.
point.
I'm not standing in your way. Don't try to trap me.
I'm not trying to
Does the
trap
board-
you.
does the
Excuse me, I'm
information board ask
I'm
for
still
information?
talking. If you review the Orange Township Records Retention Schedule from 2017, for the fiscal office, account records are supposed to be 10 years after last entry provided audited. That's paper. These are public records that we had, that Kate has confirmed we had, and they are missing now. So actually, there's no mechanism in here to ever destroy those CDs. We don't even have that on this list. So technically, we're in violation right now of not having those records if someone wanted to look at them. So I would think that the board we spent over $20,000 on branding. We spend $250 on quarterly employee reimbursement for mileage. And I think I've asked for reimbursement in 8 years of one item. All these years I've asked for anything to be reimbursed or paid for. So I just think it's really very reasonable for us to request these missing records so that finally, after 10 years of not getting those CDs, at least one person can take a look at that. I would like to know how the board feels about that. Because we're in violation right now if these are missing.
So what exactly, if you could, just what is the request that we're asking?
To spend $180, they are what, $20 a piece, I believe? 20?
I believe
Is that
that's
correct?
what, it has nothing to do with me. That's what they quoted.
Well, you're the one, but remember,
I asked them-
you're involved in this because you asked them about it and you engaged in correspondence, which is why I'm asking you about it.
So it's $20 a piece is for each
It's $180 for each CD for a full year. So $180 to get all the CDs, and we could make a copy and have them in the fiscal office, and I could get a copy as well.
So this is for each year going. So what years are we looking for?
2008 through 2016.
So 2008, 2016, we're requesting a CD for each year for $20 a piece, and this is to be on record, kept in the fiscal office. And your belief is that we don't currently have it
Yes.
on file.
And they're missing, which actually is very concerning to me, that when Mr. Mayor said when he took office, they were already missing.
Trustee Torino, what are your thoughts?
I'm okay with
You want to approve it? Okay, so.
Did
And
you
this,
ask about Patty? Does she get them in the mail every quarter, monthly?
The delivery has been irregular. Only thing recently, was the 2018 annual CD.
They come once a year then, are mailed to us?
For at least 2 years, because we have the 2017, 2018. I don't know what came before that. So I contacted First Commonwealth to see what they could do, and I gave Ms. Haft their answer.
Well, remember, First Commonwealth took over in May of 17. So up until that point, she confirmed they were sending monthly CDs and an annual CD. All those CDs, basically a whole half that box are missing. But I think First Commonwealth only sends out an annual CD.
Alright, so for that dollar amount, I think a consensus would be fine. Any agreement on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have consensus to move forward with the request Mr. Mayor that Trustee Knapp brought forward.
Thank you.
Will do.
All right, that takes us to new business, discussion regarding North Road Park opening.
Do you want to speak on there?
There's been a lot of interest in that park, of course. And I've talked to Ms. Knapp, shared a few emails about signs for the park, having a new sign constructed at that park. Contacted Brooks Vogel, the engineering company that was involved with that site, thinking maybe he had some prior sign history with the township and the other parks, but he did some research, can't find anything in his documents where they were involved with the signage. So right now we're searching for who did build those signs so that we can get a new sign made for North Road Park. We do intend on taking reservations for field use the spring of 2020, for soccer, cricket use. And we're going to be setting that up on Rec Desk along with our other sites as well.
So the sign ordering information is missing. No one can tell in your office or Brooks because apparently maybe Scott Overturf is handling the purchasing of the sign, so there's no records.
Yeah, we can't find any kind of drawings. I looked in the basement Friday, and done a couple hours digging around looking for some sign drawings. Couldn't find anything. I sent an email this morning to Patty in the fiscal office about vendors that they've used in the past for signs, see if she could
That's a
find
good one.
anything that way.
Or we could use a different vendor though that could just copy the design, correct?
I didn't understand.
We can use a different vendor who could just copy the same sign,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, we just need some kind of design drawing.
Design, yeah.
Allow that to happen.
That's
Really
too
what
bad
we're
all
looking
that
for is
stuff.
that drawing.
Hmm?
That's really what we're looking for, is that sign drawing, a typical drawing for the sign, so that we can get prices from other sign
Yeah.
companies.
I wonder, Trustee Turner, would you look back in your email and see if you have any renderings of that sign? I'll do the same, but I don't know if we ever got those or not.
Another issue that needs to be addressed too is the facilities for the park. When you start play, there'll be a lot of people. We need some kind of restroom facilities or whatever the board decides to do, whether it be porta johns again or permanent structures, whatever. But, we need to start looking at that real soon.
Why don't we add that to the next agenda and get moving on that?
Yeah, I would like to see some restrooms built there for sure as soon as we can get started on that, because we're gonna need restrooms.
I think there's, a design plan, I've seen that. I think, again, I referenced Brooks Vogel, their engineering firm, I think did some work on that. I don't know if you want to have him come to the meeting, I can contact him to talk about it.
Maybe get some, and I think I would like to scale the restrooms down a little bit. They were pretty big. I can't remember, like 10 stalls for each gender. I can't quite remember. They were huge for having just 5 or 10 soccer fields. I felt, and I'd asked Brooks a while ago to tell me about how many restrooms he thought would be appropriate for that. So maybe not as small as the ones at the pool, of course, but maybe somewhere in between that would still meet the requirements. But
I would think that'd be dictated by the anticipated number of users or field probably.
yeah, I asked him
We'll find
about
out.
that several times, but he hasn't gotten back with me. So, Trustee Rivers, do you approve of having restrooms installed at North Road Park?
I'm fine with putting it on the agenda for next meeting, but once we look at it, be happy to share my thoughts.
Are you okay with having restrooms built there?
Well, no, I said I wanted
Or do you
to
want
look at it.
porta potties? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure. That's what we'll
Okay,
review.
so possibly porta potties, okay. Also, are we gonna talk, we're gonna have a grand opening possibly?
That'd be nice.
Because I was talking to Bill and the soccer fields, are gonna be open this spring and due to the construction and the allowing one extra growing season, we thought, the park should be ready by maybe September, October for actually people to use it without using the actual parks. I know that the residents and the neighbors are antsy to use it. At a minimum, they can walk around and throw the ball around or whatever and take a look at the pond. So I was talking to Bill about, we can discuss this at the next agenda, but setting like a grand opening day at the ribbon cutting and getting the sign ready. And at least we can get that part of the park open as soon as possible and then have the fields ready later.
Bill, would you be able to assess our needs as far as the maintenance building goes?
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, because I felt that the maintenance building that was proposed was a little bit excessive for the size and some of the amenities. And I know that they're going to need something there for some equipment, but maybe you could take a look at that. And we could even have like a work session or something, a work session meeting during the day to discuss it. Maybe have Brooks come and,
That'd be helpful.
So I like to look at playground things also.
Yeah.
Including, handicap or special needs type.
I think a work session would be very helpful.
okay.
That way, just
Maybe another-
discuss, you really talk about it.
Yeah.
Lay some stuff on the table.
So maybe, maybe in the next month or so. And then can you check more on the signs and then maybe we can get a grand or a ribbon cutting ceremony, possibly set that date next meeting for
Sure.
possibly like October, maybe.
Yeah, I'll look into that, absolutely.
How long does it take to have a sign made? Is it months or how long does it take to have the sign made
Well, I don't know.
if we get the plans?
I don't know if it's kind of a ready-made type of thing, they just throw it together, I'm not sure. I wouldn't think it'd take too long. You have to put in a base, but it's not a big issue. But the actual construction with that standard drawing is what we really need to have, so we can get prices and just get it done.
And there's electricity there, right? To hook it up. There's a place for the sign.
Yes,
Because the parking lot and everything else is done,
yes.
right?
But we do have for the short term, challenge the North Road construction roundabout.
Yeah, it'll be done by when will that be done? September?
Well, yeah, I talked to Doug Riedel with the county engineer's office, they want to have that open this fall, Lewis Center and North Road.
Yeah. And so that was one reason it hasn't been opened yet is because of the construction. So we couldn't open it until we know that date. Can you get more of a firm date, you said?
Sure, I can talk to him, yeah, see if he can get a little closer than this fall.
Yeah, right. It could be any time. September, it could be November.
I'll work on those other
All right.
things too.
Thanks. Maybe put that on the next agenda.
Appreciate it, thank you. And the last we have today is just a resolution here to reopen the bidding for the Veterans Memorial. Do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Rivers, Mr. Bodnar had asked for this to be prepared. It's a resolution. Also, I believe you folks received a copy of the public announcement as well. Board had indicated that it wished to put the bread in the waters again as far as the design professionals that would be interested in possibly undertaking, the services that are anticipated. And that's what this is doing.
I have
So,
a question, Mike. So
Sure.
the company that did already submit, do they have to resubmit?
if they called me, I'd say take it, photocopy it, change the dates. I would, just so there'd be no issue. But really, this whole process, the intent of it is, I think, pretty clear, and that is to stir the water, get the sediment up from the bottom, so that you might have more people interested, more people wanting to participate, give you the benefit of that competition. But on belt and suspenders, I'd send it again. I wouldn't necessarily change a word in it. I don't think it was a question about the submittal, the person, the entity that submitted it, It was more a question of we only got one. And, at least that's what it appeared to me, so.
Well, we got two, but one.
Well, one scratched.
Yeah.
One scratched before they were even in the gate, so. That's what we're doing here. It indicates it'll be run once a week, 2 weeks. It says that copies can be sent out to the design firms that have done work for the township in the past 3 years. Also posted on, the website and listserv. So that's what we're doing. Hopefully, this will be the one. It'll go forward. That entity then will work with the township and the board in coming up with these renderings that are, an incremental step in bringing forward the design and also showing the community the direction of the project at this point.
And so does Corda need to resubmit then?
Well, that's what I think Mr. Ann was asking. I'd say resubmit it just so there's no question.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to get
They
into
just-
silliness.
Okay, because they did a really good job, actually, I guess, if we have to end up going with them, but it would be like nice to get into.
Well, yes, there's a history there. I think the board's familiar with it.
I make the adoption of the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Township Trustees of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, publicly announces its intent to contract for architectural and/or engineering services to provide an illustrative site plan, a 3D computer rendering, and a preliminary cost estimate regarding the Veterans Memorial. Be it further resolved that the Board approves the form and content of the public announcement presented to the Board and bearing in its footer the identifying version date 072319. Be it further resolved that the publication, once a week for 2 weeks, in the Delaware Gazette of the public announcement regarding such contracts, and hereby authorized, and the Township Fiscal Officer and the Township Administrator are directed to take all action necessary to accomplish that publication. Be it further resolved that copies of the public announcement shall also be posted on the Township website, disseminated by means of the Township listserv, and emailed to professional design firms who have provided services to the Board within the past 3 years.
Second?
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
All right. And that covers all that we have for today's agenda. This meeting's adjourned.
Almost a record. 2 minutes.
Not bad.
I think I set a record actually last year, or less than that.
No, 18 it was the longest.
Was it?